boys and girls. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite genres, tall tales. Tall tales are stories that combine a little bit of fiction and nonfiction together. They usually are about real people, but often they are exaggerated or stretched in such a way that that person seems to be larger than life or that they do things that could never really happen. A lot of times, tall tales are funny too. That's why I like them. I'm going to give you a few examples of tall tales, and then we can talk a little bit about what makes them a tall tale. The first is a story about someone named Annie Oakley. Howdy, y'all. My name's Annie Oakley. Folks call me Little Sure Shot. In case you didn't know, I can shoot the corners off a playing card and put about 5 more bullets through it before it hits the ground, from a mile away with my rifle. I grew up in Ohio. We sure was poor. I helped out by shooting critters for my family to eat. When I was 16, I entered a shooting contest against Frank Butler when Buffalo Bill's Wild West show came to town. And guess what? I beat Frank. But he sure did win my heart. Frank and I got married and we toured all over showing off our shooting skills. While touring with the show, I taught women how to shoot and defend themselves too. Now, while some of that was made up, there were a lot of things about that actually happened. Annie was a real person. She was named Phoebe Ann Moses, born in Ohio in 1860 and died in 1926 at the age of 66. She was a sharpshooter in Buffalo Bill's Wild West show, where she met her husband Frank Butler in a contest shooting against him, which she won. Here are a few pictures you can see of the amazing Annie Oakley. Now, why is the story of Annie Oakley a tall tale? Well, while she was a real person and these things really did happen to her, the details were exaggerated in such a way that made her seem larger than life. For example, when it talked about her shooting and that she could shoot all 4 corners off a playing card plus 5 more bullets in the card before it hit the ground from a mile away. Now, could that really happen? No. That was an example of how they used exaggeration to make her appear larger than life. Now, this story didn't have necessarily a real problem in it, but the story was told in a humorous way. I have another tall tale to read you about a man named Captain Stormalong. Good day, landlubbers. My name's Alfred Bulltop Stormalong, and I am quite the sailor. Like any sailor, I love my boat and the open sea. But what makes me different is the fact that I'm almost 30 feet tall. Believe it or not, by the time I was 2, I was already 2 fathoms, that sailor talk for 12 feet, tall. I'm known for many amazing feats of bravery, but not too long ago I encountered every sailor's worst fear, the Kraken. Why, that monster was half octopus and half sea snake. He had already crushed a right many ships with his tentacles. So one day I lassoed that big boy right around the neck. He towed my boat along behind him straight into a whirlpool. I let the rope go, and the Kraken hasn't been seen since. Now, the true things about that story, there actually was a sea captain named Alfred Bulltop Stormalong, and he did have a boat called the Courser. Now, it says in here it was so tall it scraped the moon. That's an example, again, of exaggeration. But I bet it was a pretty tall ship. He did live in Massachusetts, and many sailors today still talk about him and sing songs about him. Now, what makes his story a tall tale? Well, there were a couple exaggerations in here and also some things that could never really happen. For example, it talked about that Stormalong was 30 feet tall. Now, I'm sure he was probably a tall man, but 30 feet, that is definitely an exaggerated detail to make him appear larger than life. It talked about how he solved the problem of the Kraken. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was reading it, I made a picture in my brain of this sea monster dragging his boat with his lasso, and it kind of made me laugh. So, yes, I do think that it was solved in a funny way that he let go and the Kraken disappeared into the whirlpool. Again, could this really happen? No. But does it make the character seem larger than life? Yes. Now, what you're going to do next is you are going to be reading another tall tale. You'll be listening to the story of Paul Bunyan. After you're done, you're going to be writing down some exaggerations that you found in the story. I hope you enjoy.